Zavon, a big welcome to the show, mate. It's good to have you.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be here.
So you were actually born in Jamaica, but grew up in London. What's your backstory?
Obviously I was born in Jamaica, as everyone knows. And when I was about 8 years old, I moved there with my dad and his wife at the time. And I lived in Brixton, South London, so it was tough but good.
And you obviously end up getting spotted by West Ham. So who were you playing for? Where was it that they noticed you?
Yeah, it was an interesting time. Basically, I was playing for my Sunday League team. It was called Santley back in the days. Feels like a long time ago now. And we was playing in a tournament called the Watford International Tournament. And there was an amateur version and there's a professional version where West Ham and all the other professional clubs was at. And I was playing with my amateur team and we got to the final and we won it.
Really? Against a professional?
No, not against a professional, the amateur version.
Oh, okay, right.
So all the scouts from the professional was watching the amateurs.
Right. Did you know that there were scouts there at the time?
No, I didn't know at all. And in the final I scored like 4 goals. So I was happy with that. And I didn't really think nothing of it. I went home as normal, thinking just a normal day. And then the next day I got a call from my manager at the time saying that one West Ham scout wants to talk to me and to bring me in for a trial. So I was like, oh yeah, I was excited obviously. I was only 15, so it was good. And before that, I've never ever played at an academy or trained. I never trained properly, I just played games. But Alex Dyer, who was already at West Ham, he was my PE teacher.
Oh, really?
So because I knew him from before, he knew what I could do and he was organising to bring me in on trial. But obviously this other scout got there before him. So West Ham knew about me, but I didn't get in until Paul Senior was a scout and he brought me in. So it was good.
Did any of your other teammates get, or was it just you that got scouted from that?
No, it was just me.
Yeah.
It was just me. Actually, no, it was one of my other friends as well, actually. Yeah, both of us came in and normally it's like a 6-week trial. And like after a week I got signed. So it was, I felt like, I've achieved something, but how I am, I always think there's more. It was good for me because coming from where I came from in Jamaica, not many people know the type of background and the type of place and the type of environment. There was not much there. There was nothing there at all. So coming to England and achieving that in itself, it was good for me.
Oh, massive.
Did you find it hard to adjust to come into England from Jamaica, or was it, different lifestyle? Was it hard, or did it go quite smoothly?
It was difficult. But at the time, I'm not someone to express much.
Okay.
So I wouldn't go to my stepmom or my dad to express my feelings. I was never ever that type of person. So, and at that time I left my mum. She was in Jamaica, and then she eventually moved to New York. So for me, it was difficult because I used to say I was a mummy's boy. Obviously, most boys are mummy's boys. So I didn't get to see her for like a long time, like quite a few years.
God, that must have been tough.
So emotionally, that was tough, and that took away certain things from me, like growing up. So it was okay. It was tough, but I never had that. Obviously, my dad was always there. My dad was a man's man, so he weren't too emotional in himself. So I think I took that from him. So I weren't emotional either. So it was good. After a while, because I learned how to deal with it. And when I was in school, I was apparently a bit feisty. And then even when I came to West Ham, I was apparently a bit feisty. So it was interesting, but now that I look back at it, I wouldn't have changed it because now I could appreciate both sides. I appreciate what it is to not have it and what it is to have it. So at the minute I'm in the middle, so I've got a balance right now, so I'm quite happy with.
And when you got through the trials at West Ham and then you was part of the academy, who that West Ham fans would know were there at the time? What was your group at that time?
So when I signed for West Ham, it was under 16s.
Mm-hmm.
So normally, if you know the system of how it works, is they normally decide who's going to get a scholar by December. So I only signed in August. So I had roughly 6 months, 5 months, however long it was, to convince everyone that I deserve a scholarship. Bearing in mind all the other players in the under 16s, some of them has played in the under 18s, and all of them, they've been in the academy from under 11s, under 12s, and I had 6 months to prove myself, which I did. When I got the scholarship, obviously that's another milestone for me, which I thought was a big achievement. Because especially coming from Brixton, and back then in that environment, no one came out of Brixton doing anything like that, unless you was a rapper. And then even then, rappers weren't perceived in the best light. So then, when I realised what I did, I was obviously proud of myself, and then obviously my family was proud as well. And then coming into the academy, we had quite a few players, obviously James Tompkins. Well, when I was a first year, in my age group, there was me, Jack Collison, James Tompkins, Joe Wooderson.
Freddie Sears, was he around?
Freddie's a year younger than me, so he weren't my first, he was still under 16s.
Right.
And then obviously when I went to the second year, then that's when Freddie came, Junior Stanislas, Bonds and Gala, Josh Payne, and there's a few other, I can't remember everyone. Hopefully they forgive me for not remembering.
Well, like, from your perspective, not necessarily the coaches, but from your perspective, out of any of those names you just mentioned, were there any standout players that you yourself thought they're going to have a future in the game?
Yeah, the ones that's having it now.
Yeah. So you could tell then that they were going to be as good as they went on to be.
Yeah, because they're good players. And obviously Junior is one of my close friends. Jack's one of my close friends still. I haven't seen or spoken to Tonks in a little bit, but you could tell. The only reason why Jack's not at the highest level still is because of injuries. Everyone knows that. And he signed on at scholarship level, but obviously he was at Cambridge before. And then Junior, he was with me as well, so he could tell. He could tell who could play and who can't play. And even though a lot of the other players was in the academy for a long time, from like under 11s, sometimes it goes against them because you get coached out of being free. Sometimes you get coached and it's a bit rigid.
Yeah.
So they think they don't freestyle. So whereas when I came in, I was different. I was off the cuff. Not many people knew what I was going to do. I didn't even know what I was going to do at times. But because of that gave me opportunity. But my story is quite unique and different because my first year, I was injured for the whole year, I think. So I started the season okay. I missed a few months, and then finished the season okay. And then there was my second year. My second year, I started, and then I was made a captain. So I was buzzing because of that. So I was the second year, I was the captain of the under 18s. I remember walking out one of the first games and I was buzzing. But obviously I didn't tell anyone. It was a proud moment. And then obviously I was out for a long time. And then obviously captaincy went to someone else. But then I was thinking I didn't play many games in the under 18s because I was injured for a little while. So then I thought to myself, I might not even get a pro. But obviously, by God's grace and what was planned for my life, I got 1 year pro, and then after that, it just spiraled, and I'm here.
Well, you eventually made your debut against Macclesfield in the League Cup, I think, if my research is correct, and you scored in that game as well. What was that feeling like to know after the sort of the challenges you'd been through, like the injuries and stuff you've said, to actually you've played for the first team, you scored on your debut. What was that feeling like?
I can't really remember, but for me, I don't think about what I've been through. Because if I think about it, sometimes it might hold me back, and I'm not a person to think about the negatives. I just think about what I want. So once that happens, it happened. I can't change it.
Yeah.
So now I just...
Well, even if it's a positive, you wouldn't necessarily reflect.
I think about the positive, not the negative.
Yeah.
And I always think about the positive.
Yeah.
Because obviously that drives me on to do more.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like injuries and whatsoever, I never look back and think, I've come a long way. Because for me, it makes no difference. I just think about what I want to do when I'm fit. People always used to say, if you've been out for a long time, then you might struggle to get back that form. I never thought about that. Forget that.
Yeah. It's a healthy mindset you've got there.
Yeah. Because if I think about that, then it's something else. Do you know what I mean? So I think about what I want and what I'm going to do. And for me as a person, I work hard. I try to work as hard as possible, especially on the pitch. I still do. I moan a lot on the pitch. I complain. That's because I want to win.
See, me and X went for a Chinese last week, and our belt size went up a notch. But we don't think about that because we're going to go and have one again tonight. So we only look forward to the chicken chow mein and unlimited food at the buffet.
Bits, don't we?
Yeah, we only think about the good bits. We focus on the positives.
Exactly. Yeah, focus on the positive. That's like me now. I still focus on the positive. It's all about the positive.